This is GARIS Masculist MGTOW flyers. That is 2 3-page essays on the themes of masculism and MGTOW, written by and read aloud by Prof. Dr. Hugo de Garis. This is part 3 of flyer number 392, entitled The Happy Mix 4-3ing and MGTOW monking. Going straight on. Sandman, in brackets, a pseudonym to avoid being doxed by feminazis, that is, having his name and address made public by them, so that his business contacts can be sent negative messages by these feminazis to destroy his business or get him fired by feminazi-controlled personnel departments in companies, etc. Close brackets. The most prominent of the MGTOWs, who like clockwork, has churned out a 10-minute video on MGTOW themes every day for the past 7 years, literally without a break. Close brackets. Lives the lifestyle of the MGTOW monk. He claims that when he was living with a woman full-time, that his brain went to mush, his IQ lowered, and he was much less creatively productive. Probably he was unaware of the neuroscience phenomenon known as the male frontal lobe switch off. That is, when a man sees his regular female sexual partner, the frontal lobes of his brain switch off. The frontal lobes are responsible for planning and critical thinking, so that a woman who switches off the frontal lobes of a man she is regularly sexing can thus more easily manipulate and control that man, so that she can more easily convince him to pay for her to have babies, which is what women really want in a man. Women probably sexually selected men over thousands of generations to possess this trait of the male frontal lobe switch off, which was of such obvious sexploitable benefit to women. Sandman is not the only man to feel dumber and more manipulable by a woman when he is in love, that is, regularly sexing and having supremely pleasurable male orgasms with a woman. It's a general physiological phenomenon that the neuroscientists know about. I too notice this phenomenon with my own part-time, that is 4-3ing girlfriend. For example, I feel that I am incapable of writing angry masculist flyers such as this one and some 400 others when I am in the 4 days of my 4-3ing lifestyle. During those 4 days each week, I feel too happy and content with life because I'm getting regular and good sex from a woman who nurtures me emotionally, sexually, and especially culinarily. That is, she puts real time, effort and creativity into her cooking, aiming to please her man's stomach, confirming the adage to me that, quote, the way to a man's heart is through his stomach, end quote. Since I'm aware of the neurophysiological phenomenon of the male frontal lobe switch-off, I'm able to get the best of both worlds. That is, I benefit from the considerable benefits of having a relationship with a woman, that is, the nurturing, the sexuality, the blissful orgasms, etc., as well as the female companionship and high level of compatibility, if one is lucky enough to find such a thing using the e-dating sites. It's the e-dating computer that does most of the pre-selection, searching through millions of women to find the few who match one's criteria that one as a male is searching for. For example, in my case, I wanted a woman who was slimish, fit, financially independent, emotionally warm, and who has at least a master's degree, so that she would be a nurturative FIP sage. The computer, that is the e-dating site that I used, found me such a woman, so I am a living example that sometimes e-dating actually works. But I'm also a masculist and a MGTOW, in the sense of utterly refusing to marry and to give any woman my sperm so that she can't get pregnant. Actually, in practice, since my girlfriend is almost the same age as me, she is way past reproductive age, so getting her pregnant is very much a non-issue. So, since I consider what I'm doing as a masculist theorist is very important, I'm not happy about becoming a contented cow with my frontal lobes switched off during the 4-day/nights that I'm with her. So I rely on my other 3-day/nights a week to revert back to my MGTOW monk mentality, so that my pleasure hormones are not racing through my brain, switching off my frontal lobes, turning me into an intellectually vacuous, contented cow, incapable of having critical, angry thoughts that I consider so important to express in my masculist flyers to the world, aiming to provide large numbers of men around the world with the intellectual tools, the masculist ideas and masculist rhetoric to use to liberate themselves from manslavery, from fluffies, and from monoconscious fluffy feminists who so badly oppress men. Thus, I feel I'm living a lifestyle that offers me the best of both worlds, that is, benefiting from the very positive things that a woman can provide a man. For example, the joyous experience of being nurtured, in brackets, emotionally, sexually, culinarily, in brackets, without the negative things that a woman can inflict on a man. For example, being manslaved by her, being nagged by her, being sexploited by her, being controlled by her, etc. My masculist and MGTOW knowledge have educated me on how to avoid such negative traits of women. So I have constructed a lifestyle that avoids these negative traits of women. By living the 4-3 lifestyle, my girlfriend is very conscious that the only thing that keeps our relationship together intact is the quality of that relationship. We stay together because the relationship provides us both with real benefits. So we are strongly motivated to invest in this relationship because we both take the attitude that if you're onto a good thing, then stick to it. My girlfriend knows, for example, that if she is tempted to nag, as I suspect all women are evolved to do, in brackets, to be able to extract more resources from men in the ancient past, when the hunters were men and the women were stuck at home, looking after infants and frequently pregnant, close brackets, then I could so easily just walk away back to my own apartment. Thus she is motivated to remain nice and nurturing to her boyfriend, and vice versa. If I turn into a male shit towards her, she can easily just ask me not to turn up anymore to her very nice house and beautiful garden. So I too am motivated to be nurturative and attentive to her needs. The 4-3 lifestyle is an example of the 2A2F lifestyle, that is 2A, 2F equals 2 apartments, 2 FIPs, that's financially independent persons, where both the man and the woman have their own apartment/house and both are FIPs, so that the woman is definitely not a fluffy, so that when the relationship goes sour, as most do over time, the two of them simply walk back to their own apartments, cost-free to the man. There are no kids, so there are no problems with the hated fluffy feminist-controlled divorce courts, and no alimony, since the woman is a FIP responsible for her own financial life. In my 4-day/night period of the week, for example, Saturday noons to Tuesday noons, plus a middle of the week downtown activity, I'm happy, contented, and uncreative. I work well during that time, doing rather routine things, but I lack the sharp edge that Sandman complains about, feeling that when he felt in love, which in my terms could be more accurately described as when his male frontal lobes were switched off, close brackets, he felt as though his IQ was lowered, that the sharp edge of his intelligence was lowered, so that he became less effective, less intellectually critical. I know what Sandman is talking about. I have the same feeling. as do probably most men who are in relationships with women who give them regular, powerful orgasms, who are in relationships that are often described as providing the man and the woman with great sex. But great sex for a man comes at a price, and that is that men become more sexploitable by women by having their frontal lobes switched off, so that their critical judgment flies out the window, so that women can manipulate and sexploit them more easily. If male creativity is important to you, as it definitely is to me, then full-time regular orgasms from a woman is something to be avoided, but not totally. Hence the need for the compromise that I call the 4-3ing MGTOW monking lifestyle. I believe it offers me the best of both worlds, that is, the positive features of a nurturative sexual relationship with a woman without the negative features that women are notorious for example, especially the nagging and the sexploitation of women, plus the positive features of the MGTOW monk lifestyle, that is, having no contact with women, so that one's male frontal lobes are switched on, so that one can think critically as a male, creating products that hopefully are of real benefit to humanity. I feel that Sandman and other MGTOW monks who live their lifestyle full time are throwing the baby out with the bathwater. They benefit from not having their male frontal lobes switched off, but they pay a horrible price in not benefiting from the joys of the positive attributes that women can provide. For example, the joys of female nurturing, emotional, sexual, culinary, and female companionship, especially if there is a high level of compatibility within the couple. So for me at least, the full-time MGTOW monk lifestyle is not optimal. It demands too high a price in terms of emotional wealth. I feel there is a more optimal solution to the problem of how men should live, and that is to benefit from the positive features of both 4-3ing and MGTOW monking, and by rejecting the negative features of both. I feel I benefit from this compromise, this happy mix of the two. I offer it to the men reading/watching this flyer. It's definitely working for me so far. Whether it will continue to work long term, I can't say, but fingers crossed. Time will tell. If it does not work out, then I will become older and wiser, and will be able to report on that extra knowledge and make future masculist flyers based on that superior knowledge. Cheers. Prof. Dr. Hugo de GARIS. Email profhugodegaris@yahoo.com. Website profhugodegaris.wordpress.com. Author of the book Masculism, Men's Rebellion Against Being Manslaves to Women, an e-textbook of 390 plus masculist flyers for men's studies courses. Freely downloadable in Microsoft Word format from my website. Ciao.